When we performed professionally together, it was a musical act with some comedic introductions. And we sang, we were starting to sing folk songs, and I'd introduce them, and then Dickie would eventually...
say something after a couple of years.
About a year or so, and then pretty soon it was he started interrupting, and pretty soon it was
But actually it was a trio. See, it was a trio for the first year, and it didn't make itself for interaction for three guys. Tommy, Bobby, and I just sort of tuned, and Tommy made up stories about songs and got this laugh. So that was pretty basic. And then once the guy, Bobby, left the group, then it was just more natural for me to start interacting with Tom.
When you started out, was it already considered a comedy team, or?
No, we'd start off musically. We were going to be musicians. I mean, we were singing. The singing was the most important thing, and my introductions were kind of incidental and interesting to keep the act.
Oh, they got laughs from right away.
We got laughs, but we thought our songs were more important than what I was saying.
Oh, without the music, there couldn't have been any act. There was no. It wouldn't have been a comedy act. Nobody had the experience or the knowledge how to stand up and do 15 minutes of funny stuff. No, the music was absolutely essential. But folk music lent itself to all sorts of fabrications and distortions and exaggerations and things. Like John Henry and all these great epic history lessons that you did to music, and Tommy would just convolute them and screw them up.
And then Dick said one time, after about the fourth week performing, 3 or 4 weeks into the performing, I did an introduction was different every show. So we'd do 4 songs, and I would introduce them different every night.
And we do 3 or 4 shows a night.
And pretty soon they weren't as funny.
They were
I ran out of ideas. And Dickie said to me, one night, he said, "Why don't you repeat one of those other ones that you made up?"
Those things that got laughs. Once you repeat something, you got to laugh.
And I said, "Oh, but they'd know." I thought that you were allowed to sing a song over and over again verbatim, but to talk, to repeat yourself was kind of like lying. It didn't seem right, so I repeated something and it got a laugh, and they didn't seem to know it. I had said it once before.
God, I fooled them.
I fooled them, and then I did it again, and pretty soon the improvisational things started getting tighter and tighter. I threw out the stuff that didn't work, put in the stuff that did work, and I thought that was a great revelation to be able to say these things, because I always believed that when you talked, it was the first time you'd said it. That was the basis of the truth.
And we had no idea what the term improv meant, improvisation. Mm-hmm. And later on, we found out that's what we were doing. When we talked to Nichols and May, God, they're great. And they
Nichols and May.
They did the same thing. You added something to a story, and if it got a laugh, you kept it in. And then the next time you did it, that was part of it. And the new stuff that worked, you just started building up layers and layers. And sometimes that way, it's very painful. It could take months and months to get a really mature piece of material. But that's what we did. And it was sort of funny. Like, we did it the first time I really contributed something that was really funny was the Foxes. We did the Foxes, the famous folk song, The Fox Went Out and Chased One Night. The fox goes out to get the ducks and geese. And one time I just quacked. Quack, quack, quack. And the audience fell down. I said, "That's great. Put it in next show."
Do it again.
So I did it, and there wasn't any laughs. And I said, "Oh, maybe you do it." So Tommy did it. And that became the basis of really sort of set up a relationship that we used throughout our career.
And it became the first piece of material we did on national television, which was the Jack Parr Show in January of 1961. And that was the piece we did, and it was our first national exposure. And we just killed with it. Yeah. No one had ever seen anybody be this stupid.